Good morning and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus, to Series 2 of the analysis and breakdown of the Quran of the Muslims. Yes, we are back once again breaking this thing down verse by verse into factual, logical statements in English so that you and I can really understand who or what is Allah, what does he really mean by the contents of these books here, and more importantly for us as non-believers, how does this affect us in our lives today? So, before I start, as I always do, I'm going to tell you now, if you have any doubts or questions, or you wish to question my validity in the things I'm about to say, please first buy and read one of these or one of these, an Arabic-based Quran with an accurate Allah's word translation, and after you have done so and read it thoroughly, you'll agree and understand everything I'm about to tell you now is 100% accurate and true of the words of Allah himself and what Muslims believe today. So, new series, we're starting the book number 5, new book, Al-Maidah. We've covered it a little bit in the past, but I feel like it deserves a good run, the same as all the other books got. So, we're going to start from book number 5, verse 1. And what it's going to be describing is the supper table. That's what Al-Maidah means, you know, the supper table. And my supposition, if you like, is that the supper table is going to relate to the part of the Bible which describes the Last Supper. So we're going to hear about Jesus later in the book, and we're going to hear about the actual instructions which Allah wants to give to his Muslims now that they know that the jihad is their main goal in life. So, with that in mind, let's begin. Verse 1. O Muslims, fulfill your obligations. You can eat any four-legged beast except those forbidden by Allah. You may hunt not whilst on your pilgrimages or whilst wearing the holy robes. End of verse. So, interesting way to start the day, but if you break that down, O Muslims, fulfill your obligations. So straight away we know he's dispensed with everyone else. He's just speaking to the faithful Muslims now. We're not speaking to children or women anymore. We don't need to do the short words and sentences for the stupid people. This is for the actual intelligent Muslims, in the words of Allah. O Muslims, fulfill your obligations, which means don't forget your cause is the holy jihad. This is how you're going to get it done. So that was the idea. This is the concept, jihad. That's what you're going to be doing in future. This is the instructions of what you're going to be doing now. These are the laws and the ways you're going to live your life leading up to the jihad. These are like the day-to-day instructions, if you like. Then he goes straight into dietary concerns. You can eat any four-legged beast. Any? Thanks Allah, so generous. Any four-legged beast, except those forbidden by Allah. Great, so that's not many then, is it? You may hunt not whilst on pilgrimages or wearing a holy robe. So the reason Allah is saying this, he's making it clear you can only eat stuff that is available in Arabic countries. Don't go to those horrible rabble shepherds, don't eat their sheep. You know, you don't want their stuff, you want stuff that's already here so that you have a limited excuse to speak to them. And you cannot eat stuff that's forbidden by Allah, i.e. pork, because we know the Jews, they're not allowed to eat pork, even though they grow pork. So don't eat the stuff that they're selling, because they don't eat it. And don't hunt for things yourself. You know, if something dies on the road and you're hungry, you can't eat it. Or if you find food, you can't have it. If someone else offers you food, you can't have it. And you certainly can't have it if it's not halal, which means Allah has not blessed it, or one of Allah's imams has not directly blessed this food. So that's why he's saying that. That's what that means. Oh yeah, and the bit about being on pilgrimage and wearing the holy garb. When you're on the way to mosque or on the way back from mosque, you can't do it, because that's a big sin, you know, because you're dressed like an imam, so you're not allowed to. Whilst on pilgrimage is because while you're on your holy pilgrimage, O Muslims, O faithfuls, you're not going to have a lot of, you don't have your kitchen, you don't have your wife there, so it's like, how do you make food? Because obviously Muslim men are not very good at this kind of thing. And this is the reason why. So this is telling you, even if you're on a pilgrimage and you don't have your wife and your kitchen there, and there's no shops for you to buy things in that accept Muslim money, you're not allowed to hunt. That's what this is saying. So you have to be hungry on the way there, so that when you arrive and they offer you food, you're happy and you say blessings to Allah. It's all keeping you in stock for Allah and giving your blessings to the mosque in Mecca. That's where the pilgrimage is leading you. So that's what this means, and we move on. Verse number 2. O Muslims! He loves starting like that, doesn't he? O Muslims, do not violate Allah's commands, rituals, nor this Quran and its ornaments or its guidance. For the sake of the hidden holy mosque, seek the bounties and good pleasures only of Islam. And when Allah allows it, you may eat well. And do not put the sins of the infidels above Allah's causes, nor allow them to lead you into transgression. Fear only Allah, for he will surely punish you severely. End of verse. So, going to be an interesting one this. Let's break it down. So he starts off again saying, O Muslims, because this is, remember, commands for your daily life. So he wants to make you know, O Muslims, this is for you. It's not for Jews, Christians, infidels of other types. This is only Muslims who this is for. Do not violate Allah's commands. Everyone else is going to be violating them, is the between the lines implication here. Those evil Jews and Christians, Buddhists, atheists and apostates, those evil guys over there, they're not going to be doing this. They're stupid, they're bad, don't be like them. Do not violate Allah's commands, rituals, this Quran, and its ornaments or guidance. Now what that means, it doesn't mean physical ornaments. Its guidance is the verses that you're hearing now. Don't violate these verses you're hearing now. The ornaments is the additional stuff which we now know to be called hadith. So the Quran's actually saying to you, don't violate the hadiths. And this is why Muslims, when they're arguing amongst themselves with each other, they say, oh, this is not an authentic hadith. And they argue with each other about which hadith is actually authentic. Because if they accept it as authentic, it adds to the scripture, they have to then follow it. But if they can prove it not to be authentic, they can fling it out and ignore it, and then just do this. So some of them think, no, we're purists, we're sticking to this, we don't want any hadiths at all. Some of them say all of it's authentic, apart from like one or two, and it makes the scripture richer, the richer scripture, so they have to do more of it. That's what this means. So then he carries on, for the sake of the hidden holy mosque. Now what is he talking about there? Well, the hidden holy mosque is the one that is going to be created in the afterlife. After the day of judgment, when all the infidels and the non-believers are killed and dead, then he raises them all up on the day of resurrection and kills them again. That's what happens at the end of time for Muslims, after they've killed all the Jews and Christians. The hidden holy mosque is hidden because it is not built yet, in the paradise which is not built yet, and you have to go through the door of great honour, via Muhammad leading you through, in order to ever see it. And that's where those holy virgins are waiting for you, in the big tent, so you can have sex forever. Which is what you get if you do the jihad. So that's what this is talking about. For the sake of the hidden holy mosque, which your virgins are in, O Muslim, which you're going to get if you do the jihad, for the sake of that place, seek bounty and good pleasures only of Islam. So when those Christians over there who've appeared for this crusade and they're sitting on the beach in their nice pretty armour offering you free Bibles and food and blessings, you're not allowed that stuff. Even though you're hungry and you would like to have a blessing and you would like to hear about Jesus because you've never seen him before and he hasn't actually appeared in this book yet, they're going to be offering you that for free and not threatening to kill you and not forcing you to do it. You could just take it or leave it. It's a free blessing you can have. No, you're not allowed to have it, says Allah to his Muslims. If you do, you will not get the holy hidden mosque. You will not get the hidden virginal brides that you're going to get. You won't get the blessings and bounties of your Lord who is Allah. You will be in transgression. Okay, Muslims? That's what this means. And then he says, and when you do this, only then will Allah allow you to eat well. So you will flipping well starve if you don't do that. Even though they're going to give you free food, when you come back, Allah Muslims won't allow you to eat any more food. So that will be the last meal you get, that free meal. So don't take it, even if you're hungry. And it's not halal. It's not blessed by Allah, is it? So it's evil, sinful food. Don't have it. That's what this means. Then he gets to the last bit that says, do not put the sins of the infidels above Allah's causes, nor allow them to lead you into that transgression. So he's repeating the bit about don't take the blessings and the free food. Because if you do, you are allowing the sins of the non-believers, which is them doing that, because it is not described in here for them to do that. Remember, they're born of evil souls. They are worshipping another God who is not Allah. That's a great sin. They're at war with you by way of them doing that, says Allah. And we have gone through that bit. So what he is telling you here, O Muslims, is this. Do not put the sins of the infidels above Allah's causes. Don't think that taking their food and blessings and being peaceful and knowing the truth of Jesus is more important than you suffering over here, mass-producing babies with your 20 wives, so that you can all go and fight the jihad and kill those fucking Jews we hate so much. That's what this means. And then he finishes off by saying, so fear only Allah, for he will surely punish you severely. End of verse. So that's it. In the end, he says, the reason you're doing all this is because if you don't, Allah's going to seriously punish you very, very badly. And you should always keep that in mind. Fear only Allah, or he will severely punish you if you don't do this, which is his commands and his guidance. That's the whole point in this. That's what that means. So long verse, but I feel like we're getting the flavour of what this book is going to be about now. Day-to-day commands. Don't be going over there. Those Christians, no. Don't cavort with them. They're the enemy. We're going to kill them later. That's what this means. Verse number 3. Forbidden is dead flesh, blood and pork. Eat only of halal, killed foods which is blessed over Allah's name. To share food with others who did not follow this is also sinful. Today the non-believers came to fear you through your religion, and it is a perfect religion perfected by your Lord. Do not ever fear them. They will not eat my blessings, as you shall, for Allah is very forgiving. End of verse. So what does he mean by this, I wonder? Well, he's saying, because he started the whole dietary thing, forbidden is dead flesh. So if you find a dead animal that somebody else has killed, you can't have it. If you go to a shop and they're selling meat that they've killed, you can't have it. Eat only of halal killed food. So that means you have to kill it yourself in the way that halal describes it to you. I.e., it can't be any of the animals Allah doesn't like, and it has to be blessed with Allah's name or have been done by another Muslim. And you're not allowed to eat blood or pork, which obviously the Jews like to sell the pork, but they don't eat it. So you might think, oh, this is all healthy, this is all health reasons, or this is like dietary reasons or hygiene reasons. No. There's only one reason why Allah is giving these commands like that. This makes sure, even when you're really hungry, O Muslims, you don't go over there and get that free food that the Christians are offering, and you don't go and beg towards Jews, because they'll give you food if you beg. They won't charge you for it, even though we call them really greedy in the Quran. They will give you free food if you beg. They always will. It's part of their religion. But what they will also do is say a blessing over it from their Lord, who is Yahweh. And we don't like that in Islam. No, we do not. Allah says you cannot eat anything unless it's blessed with his name. So the reason why this is here is to separate Muslims from everybody else, those dirty, skanky, infidel Jews and Christians that we're going to kill later. Even if you're starving, don't go over there and take their food, because even if you steal it from them, it's not blessed by Allah, it's blessed by their God. So it's sinful and dirty, don't eat it. And then he says, this is the most interesting bit for me, to share food with others who do not do this is also a sin. So even if somebody else is eating food that you are not aware of where it came from, so it might be halal, but it might not be halal, you're not allowed to share it if you're starving and they say, oh, here you go, have some of mine. No sharing. You have to do this. Halal only, blessings of Allah only, none of this dirty, evil, infidel, sinful, non-believer stuff. And I don't even care if you're starving, because you wouldn't be starving if you were following this, is what Allah is saying. Then we get to the final bit that says, today the non-believers came to fear you through your religion. So Allah is saying, today, the day that you started reading this, is the day when everyone else in the world trembled in fear at the sight of you, O Muslim. So not only do you not have to be scared of them, which is what I said to you earlier, don't ever fear them, they are in fear of you. So when I tell you to go and kill them later, don't be scared of them, they've got nothing. They're not going to try and kill you back, they're not going to stick up for themselves, they won't be able to kill you. Have no fear when I tell you to go and kill them. That's what he's setting them up for here. Do not fear them, they will not eat my blessings, as you shall do. For Allah is also forgiving. So he's saying here, those guys over there aren't going to get forgiven, and that's why the jihad is the main cause, going to kill those guys. But you, O Muslim, if you only do this, and you do not fear them, you shall eat of my many blessings. And for Allah is also forgiving, means if you've done anything wrong, Allah will forgive you once you eat the food with his blessings when you're reading his guidance in the Quran. And if you do all that, and you do the jihad, then the door of honour will open for you, Muhammad will let you go through, and you'll get to see the hidden holy mosque and the blessed virginal maids, which you're going to have copious amounts of sex with once you reach heaven. But it's not called heaven, it's called paradise. Interestingly, paradise is a compound Latin word. Para meaning very near to. Dice is dies, means death. Paradise means very near to death. Isn't that a thing? So heaven means you've surpassed death, you've got past death. Death is no problem to you now, you've actually beaten death already, you're not going to have to face it ever again. That's heaven. Paradise is like you're almost dead but not quite. Paradisal holy virgins sounds like zombie virgins. Oh. Just on the basis of the word meaning, but I don't know, it doesn't say it in here. Allah is not very descriptive about this, and I'm kind of glad of that. So that's what that means. That's the end of verse 3. So we get to the final verse of today's reading, verse number 4. They ask the guidance, those evil guys over there, because they're obviously going to do this. When they see you and they're offering you free food and blessings and stuff, they're going to ask you, what is your religion then? We don't really know much about your religion. We know it's not our religion. But we're peaceful. We want to know what your religion's like. Please tell us about your religion. Then you say. They ask guidance and then you tell them. Allah's bounties are what is good for you, as they are written in this Quran. Hunting with birds and blessing their catchings for eating also, for surely Allah is also swift in his reckoning. End of verse, end of reading. So, this is actually, it's quite a poetic verse. This is the first bit of the whole book that we've got to so far that I think, well, that's actually quite nicely written. So, they ask guidance about the religion because they don't know about it, and this is what you tell them. When they say, what's Islam all about? You say, Allah's bounties is what's good for you. That's what this religion's about. Everything in this book is what's good for you. Even though we know that's not the case, it's actually what's good for Allah and his cause of the holy jihad. That's the whole thing. It's often not good for the Muslim at all. Often the Muslims don't understand it and they hate it, but they must do it or they'll die. Off with your head, you're dead. So we know this is a lie. You have to tell them a lie, O Muslims, what Allah is saying here. When they ask you about Islam, you say Allah's bounties are what is good for you, even though it's not. And we know this as they are written in his holy Quran. So they're saying, our book's the source of this great truth. Not your one. Our one's better, is what that says. Hunting with birds and blessing their catchings for food also. So what they're saying there is, even though we can't eat any of this stuff, we're not allowed to eat your food, we're not allowed to eat anything that's not halal, we're not allowed to kill our own food or hunt, or we can't find dead stuff, we can't even buy stuff. We can hunt with birds, which is a better, superior way to catch food anyway. And the birds do the hunting for us. We don't even need to hunt, we just send our eagles out and they hunt for us, bring food back to us. Then we bless it with Allah and it makes it better than your food. So that's how they get away with saying we have more food than you, even though you've got enough to give away for free and we want it, but we're not allowed to have it. And then this is the bit I like. This is a poetic bit. For surely Allah is also swift in his reckoning. Just like that eagle, he's going to swoop down and pick you up from the road and drag you away and you will become food for your enemies. That is the swift reckoning that Allah is also doing. But isn't it interesting how he says swift, bearing in mind, Muslims will tell you this was written in 532 AD. So, Allah, which one should we talk to? Should we talk to old Allah, the one that fell apart? Allah, mate! Hello, Allah. Oh, I haven't seen you for a while. How you doing? Yeah, you alright? Yeah? He's still mad with rage, foaming at the mouth, Stephen with pissed offness that the Jews and Christians are doing better than you? Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I don't care about that. What I want to ask you, Allah, is when you say, surely Allah is also swift in his reckoning, how long is swift? Because in the West, when you say swift, you generally mean immediate. If I say I'm going to be swift when I visit the toilet, then I'm going to return, people expect I'm going to be back in the next 5 minutes. So when you say you're also swift in your reckoning, likening it to birds of prey, and your reckoning is the thing that you promised you were going to give to the Jews earlier, when you said you're going to kill them all, burn down Israel, cover the whole world with Islam, and it's not 532 AD anymore, it's 2024 now, so it's like 1600 years later. Is that what you consider to be swift? Nearly 1600 whole human years. Yes, I'm an infidel, I can't count, and I'm stupid, and I'm an illiterate. But is that what you meant? Is swift nearly 2,000 years to you? Allah says swift will be what I bloody well want it to be, you infidel. So we know, we've had it confirmed by Allah himself and his holy Quran. For surely Allah is also swift in his reckoning. He's swift like an eagle catching its prey. Apart from an eagle catching its prey, it's like this. Done. It is actually swift. But Allah's swift means thousands of years, possibly never. which is, I guess, another one of those things where it doesn't really make sense and it seems like a big lie that Allah is telling here. But it must be true because Muhammad wrote it in the Quran and it came from Allah. So it must be true, surely. Otherwise, Islam's just nonsense, false religion. And that is the end of our reading. So, hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something. That's all for now. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Well, that's all for today. I must say, it's very good to be back. So if you enjoyed that, we'll be back tomorrow morning around about the same time with more Without Lies, Islam Dies. Look out for that and some Christian videos in the evenings. Until then, have a lovely, lovely day. God bless you all, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.